Hello, everyone. Once again, it's Cue It Up with the Q Brothers. I'm John Quattrucci.
And I'm Ralph Quattrucci.
Your fingers weren't moving like normal, Ralph. What's up? You're getting used to the
more
theme
subtle.
music.
I think
That's
people
right.
are sick of seeing me. You do that.
No. I think you're just getting used to that
It's coming
wonderful
into your
theme
ear.
music.
I'll take it into your ear. Watch it. Wet Willie. Wet Willie.
Oh. No, other way. Oh. So what's been going on this week? Anything exciting? Usually I ask you that. You don't want to talk about anything.
No, but I want to talk about, I left a film off, or a rom-com that I'm pissed off that I left off. And I actually just watched it. And I almost couldn't get on. The room gets super dusty. The Goodbye Girl, starring Richard Dreyfuss.
Oh, Richard Dreyfuss, Marsha Mason.
How we forgot that one, I have no idea. But I happened to be
I didn't forget it. I just didn't pick it.
I went to a toy store place, and I sold a couple of old game modules that I had, or game stuff that I found at thrift stores. And they have a whole pile of Laserdiscs in the back, and I ruffled through them, and I found The Goodbye Girl, and watched it just now, and I can't believe I forgot that one. And
Neil Simon.
Yeah, it just reminded me.
Who was the girl? Kathleen?
No, Mason. Marsha
What's
Mason.
her name? No. The little girl.
Oh, Quinlan.
Kathleen Quinlan. She was great.
I don't think it's Kathleen.
Oh. Well, someone Quinlan.
That's somebody else. Yeah, let me see. I'll tell you.
She was awesome.
We do this. You didn't do that on purpose, right?
No. I mean, I knew Marsha Mason and Richard Dreyfuss, and I knew Neil Simon wrote it.
Quinn Cummings. Oh, my God. Did we miss that one? Yeah. And you know who gets an uncredited... Jamie Farr.
Great.
Jamie Farr plays a bartender at a strip club who beats a guy up, some guy that was causing trouble. Gets an uncredited. I didn't know that.
That I do not remember.
Yeah. It just reminded me how sweet and nice those old rom-coms were, and the fact that they seem like real people, like regular people. They lived in a crappy little apartment in New York City. It's just a great film, and I'm so...
he won the Oscar for that.
He did. And he was the youngest one to ever win an Oscar. Adrian...
How old was he?
30, I think 30. And Adrian Brody ended up topping him when he won for the pianist, or the... Drew right now is going crazy because we're screwing all this up. I'm sure he's dying.
Well, I'm not screwing up because I didn't bring it up. I like Kathleen Quinlan, though.
Yeah, she was great. In another movie, though, not this one.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, I love the film. I can't believe I forgot it. And I have a huge place in my heart for Richard Dreyfuss. And one of my favorite films he did was called Let It Ride, where he plays a guy who goes on a...
Trotta!
Yeah.
Trotta!
Easy with the mic. I don't know what it is with your mic.
Well,
anyway, I just wanted. That's what I
day.
just watched. I did a few other things this week, but I just wanted to bring that up because I'm so sorry I missed that last week. But anyway. Excellent. And how'd the shed building go? Did you have all the Amish people come over?
Shed was great.
The neighbors come over and help you?
No, I had 3 guys did it in 2.5 hours, and I cleaned out the garage today and filled up the shed.
Nice.
So my garage looks beautiful. My shed is awesome. So
while
thank
the guys
you for
were
asking.
While the guys were building it, did Rose come out in a like a mid-drift shirt and some lemonade or anything for the boys, for the guys?
No.
Oh.
No, she did not. She was working, actually.
Oh.
So she wasn't here. But I filmed it. I got a little time lapse.
I saw that. You did do that.
How fast they put
I
it.
like when you
cool.
film other people working for you. That's nice. So, you're being so polite.
What else happened? So a little sad news. Our Uncle Arthur just passed away. I'm not sure how old he was. I think he was
85.
a little older than my dad.
I think 85.
Our dad. I'm saying my dad. He passed away
we have the
last
same
week.
dad.
Very sad. Yeah, I know. We're going.
Yeah, that was
to the funeral
that
on
was
Tuesday.
tough. I guess you're going to the funeral.
Yeah, everything's on Tuesday. Just immediate family because of COVID, but it's tough. I mean, that's for my mother. It's only her and my Uncle John that's left. So it's just kind of sad.
Yeah, way to kill my
thing I did this week.
Way to kill my Rose joke. Thanks, that was good. Jesus, you really
I know,
took
but
it down.
Listen. Sometimes good things are going to happen. Sometimes bad things are going to happen.
Yep.
I also, since this is your subject this week, we're going to talk about streaming. I watched all 9 episodes of WandaVision yesterday from 7 o'clock till around midnight. And really
7 a.m. or 7 p.m.?
No, 7 p.m.
Oh.
It's only 9 episodes. Really, really, really well done. The last episode wasn't as good as the first 8. The finale, it was okay. But it was really well done. I'm really glad I waited, I didn't watch it, weekly. I wanted to wait till all the episodes dropped. So I'm glad I watched it. Recommend it if you're a Marvel fan or a comic book fan. Watch that. And if you want to watch our comic book episode, that was last week. But when we do stuff like this, we always want you to subscribe. Hit the. Did you get that going, Ralph? Did you get it going? Please subscribe, share, hit the notification button. I know we tell you that every week, but it really does make a difference with the YouTube algorithm. So we hope we've earned it, and we hope we earn it tonight. So Ralph, tonight is. I let you pick the subject. I don't even remember why I did this.
Why you let me pick?
I said, why don't you pick what we're going to talk about?
Right.
I know why, because you were so pissed off about the comic book movie one.
Yeah, I didn't like
so
that
I
at
said,
all.
fine, you pick the next one. So I'm going to let you kick it off. Tell our audience what
By
you're
the way,
talk
one
about.
of our viewers told me that Iron Giant was not a comic book, an original comic book film, even though it was on the list that I was stealing from. So we'll ask him later.
I'll have to
when he
research
pops
that.
up. Yeah, so I wanted to, after the comic book debacle, and kind of introduce us to, we have a little surprise about 25 minutes from now. We're going to introduce a new show we're thinking about. So I wanted to...
In the Red production is expanding.
We're expanding
once again.
We have this giant hole that we're filling. We make zero money. We just keep filling it with... when you do things for free, you work all the time. It's amazing. So it's pretty good. Yeah,
well, it's also based on the fact that when we do our other shows, in this show, we often talk about what we're watching.
Yeah.
And
yes, we do that as part of...
That seems to get a good response.
Yeah.
So to give you a little heads up, that's kind of what led us into the surprise that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, and
so
most
we'll
of the podcasts that we do are based on old films. Not old films, but films, movies that we watched in the past, or the other podcast is a cult movie version of stuff that we talk about. So nothing.
We very rarely talk about current movies.
We really don't. Just in passing, we kind of do that, or like you said at the beginning of one, we might ask. So I wanted to just give a kind of a brief little foray into our past experience with how we used to rent films, how Netflix came about. And really, real quick, we don't, and what we do with our media, because our media has changed. I have specific things I collect. You collect certain things, alphabetized differently, all this stuff. Anyway, so I kind of wanted to get into explain how we used to rent films when we were back in the day. I mean, most people know about Blockbuster, but.
Well, that's when I was in, when I lived in California in 1984, 1985, there was a little video store that I used to rent from. But once I started working for an electronics company, we had disc play. You're talking probably 88, 89. Laserdisc players came out. So I got one of the first ones because I worked for an electronics retailer, and I started buying Laserdisc. And I wasn't renting anymore. So if there was a movie that I really wanted to see, I bought the Laserdisc, and then I bought the DVD. Then they came out with the what the hell was it called? It was the brown DVDs. It was before Blu-ray.
HD DVD. HD DVD.
Yeah, HD.
That's in my obsolete museum. Yeah.
They also had DivX. I don't know if you remember DivX.
DivX came out real quick,
which was a Circuit City proprietary thing, and it killed them.
Right.
So I bought all my movies. So any movie that I wanted to watch, I bought. So I have a huge Laserdisc collection. I have a huge DVD, Blu-rays. I mean, the problem with that is you buy these movies on DVD, or first you buy them on Laserdisc, right? Then you buy them on DVD. Then they come out with the next iteration of it that's better. And then they come out with the Blu-ray. Now it's all 4K. Right. So you're buying the same movie 5 different times. Right. So that started to get a little out of control from a money standpoint. Although I joined, I don't know about you, but I joined Columbia House.
Oh my God!
Like under 5 different names, where you'd get 20 free.
Tape the penny to the
yeah,
envelope.
Exactly. Right. So
that's how I started my first Laserdisc collection. By the way, first Laserdisc collection
was through Columbia.
Oh yeah, they had a Laserdisc version of that.
Because you sent me to that place. It was a guy's name.
Ken Crane.
Ken Crane. That's where I used to buy my Laserdiscs.
Right.
And he was. I mean, you could buy anything. And in fact, there are laser discs that you can't get in DVD. Like the original Star Wars, I have on Laserdisc without all the extra crap on it, and it looks great. Yeah. But you can't get that.
You mean you can't get that on Blu-ray or DVD? You can't get some of the...
No, because he won't put it out.
Yeah. Well, we can talk about that. I wanted to kind of get into Well, the Netflix, how Netflix kind
Well,
of.
that's what I'm getting
Yeah.
to. So it got to the point where I didn't have any more room for
Right.
all my DVDs, right? So I was very hesitant to stream stuff. I have DirecTV,
Mm-hmm.
and I've had it for, I don't know, I've had it for probably 28 years, and I've got every movie channel. And then they started to come out with things specific to the streaming services. So I never joined Netflix. It took me, in fact, I think I joined Netflix, it might have been 3 years ago.
Wow.
No, more than that, 4 years ago.
Wow.
I just didn't want it. And then once I got on it and saw what you could watch on it, I was like, wow.
Well, so
this
you
is
didn't even
like-
have it when they were mailing you DVDs? They would mail
No,
you a DVD,
never.
hold it for 3 days.
No,
send it
because
back?
anything I wanted to watch, I bought.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So no, I never did that.
Wow.
So for me to get the streaming service was a big deal because I don't know, I didn't know anything about it, or I knew very little about it, so I was real hesitant to sign up for it. And then because I love old stuff, I love old TV shows, I love documentaries, and once I got on it and realized the breadth of what was on there, well, then I started to look at other streaming services, Hulu and all the new ones that have come out. So that's what got me on it. In fact, I'm almost at the point where I'm going to get rid of my DirecTV except for the basic package. And because I've got like 5 different streaming services now.
Yeah.
And I find that I almost never watch the DirecTV channels.
Right.
All the movie channels, I just don't watch them. I stream everything, including YouTube. I watch a ton on YouTube. So that's how I transitioned from what I was doing to what I'm doing now.
Yeah. Well, I
don't know. You're similar. You must have a similar story.
Here's what's going on with me, and I started years ago. I early adopted Netflix. I love getting the DVDs sent to me. Then they switched over to the streaming.
Right.
I think they're still renting. I think that you can still get DVDs as a package where I think they'll still send them and mail them to you.
Oh, I didn't.
But I've had many collections in my life. Okay, so I had probably I have a ton of DVDs that I know that I've put away and sent to thrift stores. Same with the laser discs. I went through this run where in the 90s where I had all the laser discs. Somehow in the middle of all the divorces and moving and all that stuff, I lost my whole collection. And then I started this podcast about 3 years ago. And one of the guys on there, Al, who's known as Al, Uncle Al.
Uncle Al from Movie Strange?
Yeah, Movie Strange. That Uncle Al got me all juiced up about. I got him into collecting laser discs again.
Wait. You lost your entire collection of laser discs?
I had bits and pieces
prior?
of it. Bits and pieces of it that I was able to
So where did you have no idea where it ended up?
I have no idea. All I know is I ended up buying everything I ever had and then some. Because, like any obsession, once you get obsessed with this kind of stuff.
Yeah. And the good thing is they're cheap, too. They're cheaper.
You can get them cheaper.
When they were first
I have
out.
a thing on my phone. I catalog everything I have. So I'm in a store. I'm not duplicating things. Although I still do that. I still think I don't have it, and I end up getting it. Like I thought yesterday, I couldn't remember if I had Citizen Kane. By the way, I did watch RKO 281.
How'd you like it?
Loved the film. Now it makes me want to go watch Citizen Kane, which is the other nice thing that streaming allows you to do. I have an app that says, hey, where's this streaming? And either I have to rent it or I find it free. So that's been great. What I wanted to get at and what we're going to bring our guest on and talk about is what I used to love about going and renting films is you would go to a video store. Now a Blockbuster and some of the real sort of generic ones didn't do this for you, where they would have these guys would pull special films for you that they if you go enough, they go, I think you're going to like this. I think that's what Tarantino was doing when he was running video stores, right? He'd build collections. And he would say, if you like that one, you got to try this thing. Or if you want to go, and you would go to the video store if it's a good one. I used to go to one in Alexandria, Virginia called the Video Vault. And that's where I found stuff that I would never have looked for on my own, and it really made me feel like these guys get me. It's a great place to go. I think they even rented laser discs, so I was able to get laser discs there as well. And I'd find obscure things. They'd introduce me to other stuff. And with all the collections I tell you the one positive thing that's come out of COVID for me is my obsessive COVID brain. Because what I ended up doing is I took all my DVDs and I converted them to MP4s. Right? And what I ended up doing was now I'm going out to thrift stores and I'm just buying DVDs left and right. because I added I added a Plex server to my system. You know what Plex is? It's an app that you can get. You can put it on your phone and your computer, and it's like a storage thing. It's a server. So I put all my DVDs and Blu-rays that I convert. I put them on this server that's on my computer, and I can access it from any computer in my house, any TV in my house, because it streams through Roku. I'm actually watching DVDs that I've had for years that I never felt like taking it out of the box, putting it in the DVD player, and running it. I have it all at my fingertips now, and I'm able to stream anything I want, any of my collections.
How's the quality?
It's as good as you put in there. So my MP4s, they look fine. I don't need to be on a 98-inch TV. I don't mind seeing it on my small TV.
100, Ralph, not
100-inch.
100.
And
okay.
I'm telling
Actually,
you, I watched the other week.
specific.
I watched all 4 of the. I know there's 5 of them, but I only watched 4 Dirty Harry films. All DVDs that I've had forever and never watched because I didn't want to deal with taking it out of the box, putting in the machine, blah blah blah. And now I can access. And I think when our guest comes on, he can. I think he's doing the same thing. And I can access it from anywhere. And I can look at it on my phone. If I'm off site, I can stream all my films. They just live on a drive on the computer, and boom, you're ready to go. Home movies and everything. So I have access. So that's the streaming scenario that I have really enjoyed. That I'm able to get all at this stuff.
Yeah, but that's not. I mean, but
it's
when
streaming.
People think of streaming.
It's streaming.
That's not what they're talking.
That's
about.
not what we're going to talk about down the road.
Right.
But that is it's allowed me.
COVID has turned everyone into streaming junkies.
Well, right, and all the films that were supposed to be in movies are now going direct to streaming because all the companies are realizing that everybody's at home, and probably this is going to be the new format anyway, the new going forward.
And these streaming services are, because of COVID, are creating a tremendous amount of original content because they're trying to get you to stream their service.
Well, I cut the cord a long time ago, meaning I dumped my cable, right? And I still have the internet service come in. You end up spending the same amount that you were spending on cable because once you add all these streaming services, bing, 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 bing,
well,
bing,
you're back. Not DirecTV. I mean, DirecTV is expensive.
Well, you'll see when you're all done with all your streaming.
No, Ralph, I've already worked the math. Believe me.
Okay, is it much less? Money. Really?
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
But all these streaming services: Netflix, Criterion Collection, Shudder for horror movies, Hulu, blah blah. You can go on and on.
Have you got that? Have you got them all?
I have Shudder. I have Hulu. I have Disney Plus. I have HBO Max.
Yeah. Well, you're also don't you get Disney Plus, right?
No.
Because you work. No,
that's a choice. I either have that or I can get free tickets.
Oh, the park tickets, right? Tickets. And we want the park tickets.
By we, you do. I don't.
Well, it's family,
right? Family, right?
And you don't like that.
La Familia. I didn't say that.
Oh, that's right. No, you love that place.
I love that place.
That's right.
I actually almost wore my Mickey Mouse shirt today, but I didn't.
That was Steve.
So having said that,
yeah,
I'd like to bring our next guest on, and I'll let John, since you're better at this than me, you can introduce the new show. This is basically your show. But what I want to stress, let's bring him on. Our friend, we all know him.
You guys already know him from
because he's been on a couple of shows.
We've done this with 2 Qs and a Drew.
Oh, there he is.
And there he is. Hey, Drew, how are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Very well, very well. So, how this came about, we kind of set it up a little bit. We've been talking about, and the conversations we have pre-broadcast and post-broadcast, often we branch out to stuff that we're watching that we don't actually talk about in the show. So we started just kind of noodling. Because the one thing about the 3 of us, when we do the 2 Qs and a Drew, we have a nice rapport with each other. Very conversational. We also have divergent tastes, which I think is good. Mm-hmm. Because one of the things we want to do is, there's lists on what you should watch on streaming services. Everyone does that. But I think we want to make our recommendations to you for stuff to watch with all the streaming services, and are some streaming services better than other? And we also, so we wanted to bring Drew on, who's very knowledgeable about this stuff. But we also want you to know that in no way are we affiliated with any of these streaming services. So whatever we tell you about the movies or the services, no one is paying us to do that. Okay, this is our recommendation to you.
Not yet, anyway.
Well, hey, listen, I hope someone wants to sponsor us, but it wouldn't affect how we talk about this stuff.
Well, I kind of look at this. I'm going to speak real quick, and then we'll let Drew talk a little bit, maybe. I kind of look at this like those old video stores you used to walk into, and they would curate stuff. I'm not saying that's going to get to that detail, but the thing that bugs everybody, and we all get this, it's the option paralysis. You ever sit there and when you're going through Netflix and you're just clicking and you spend about 20
everyone
minutes.
scrolls. You just keep scrolling.
Because there's so much. You're just like, oh, yeah. But, and I kind of feel like we could be a voice out there that says, hey, let's focus in on this. If you like, now John has definitely different tastes than I do. Drew the same. And we all have different. So we're all going to come at it a different way. And I think that's pretty good because we might hit somebody's taste that they might go, hey, I don't like what the guy's saying, but that one had a pretty good idea for this. So anyway, Drew, welcome. We kind of danced around.
Thank you.
So anything you'd like to add to our little streaming? Oh, by the way, what's the name of the show?
Stream Quest will help
With
you in
two
your
Qs and
hunt
a Drew.
for what to watch.
Stream Quest with two
and
Qs and a Drew.
Right.
Oh,
That's right.
Yeah.
I still like mine.
right.
We have a week stream. I kind of like
We
that
tossed
one.
that one around.
Three middle-aged men,
Yeah.
week stream.
Yeah.
But hey, listen,
Speak for
Stream
yourself.
Quest,
I think
it's
Drew's
got
younger
that
than us.
ethereal quality. I kind of like that too.
Or Live in the Dream. Live in the Stream, I thought was a good one too. But this is good.
So,
because
Drew,
it
did
is-
I tee that up right? And we kind of had a conversation around this, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
can
no, I'm
expand upon
I'm
that
really
if you
excited about it. I've always loved our conversations. It's funny you talk about the rapport that we have. I agree with you. I wonder if that will exist in person because I don't know what you guys smell like because we've never actually met or anything.
Yeah, we don't even know how tall
But,
each other. I've seen you.
I smell like obsession. If you want to know the truth.
Oh, there you go. Ralph had me stand against a door in a
So I could get some
previous
perspective.
conversation just for scale.
I'm sorry. Ralph had you stand at a door.
Yeah,
We
we
were on a
had
Zoom
we were
call.
doing a conversation. I was in my living room, and there's a closet on the corner, and he said, "Well, can you stand against that door?" And I stood against it. And he was like, "Oh, you're taller than I thought." I said, "Well, it's just a thing that I do, I guess."
Right. So, yes.
listening to what you guys were saying, I want to say, Magnum Force is the best Dirty Harry movie. Full stop. Their
I
other
have
ones
to
are
not
good.
Better than the
disagree.
first one.
That's the best one.
Yeah.
The Dirty
I love
Harry
the
is good,
first
but Magnum Force, those
That
cops
was
are so
Clint's
evil.
favorite
David
was Magnum
Soul.
Force.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. that's
Although I
cool.
have to admit, I
Yeah,
don't
no, it
hate
was-
the Enforcer. I don't hate the Enforcer. I thought Tyne Daly was pretty good in that. Anyway.
I mean, I think they're all worth watching. Even the Deadpool is worth watching. But Magnum Force isn't just a good Dirty Harry movie. Magnum Force is a good movie. That's the one that I've kept coming back to if I'm in the mood to watch something like that. And
Robert
it's just got a
Urich,
great cast.
David
great
Soul.
cast.
That's how David Soul got Starsky and Hutch is his performance in that film. The other
Man's
thing
got
Drew
to
is
know
going
his
to
limitations.
The other thing Drew is going to do for us is correct all our name drops. Terrible name dropping.
What about
that we did.
Kathleen Quinlan?
That was a good one.
Can we?
So
I
bad.
have been
Cummings.
listening. I considered unmuting to jump in and correct as an unseen voice, but I said, you know what? I'll just do it live. F it. I'll do it
As
live.
soon as
We'll
we
just-
started fumbling,
F
I
it.
was thinking Drew's
F it,
listening.
we'll
to
do it
this
live.
too.
Here's the other thing I'd like to get to. I'd like to get the podcast to come. We have found that as we do these podcasts that we do, as soon as I say cut, podcast is over, and we just all start talking to each other, that's some of the best stuff that comes off these things. And I'm hoping we can keep that vibe, like we just shut it off and we're just sitting around talking for this show. I want this to be a little more relaxed and less stuff that we have to get to and, games that we play on the other ones. And just talk. I just want to talk. And
Well, go ahead. Shut it off. Is it off? Are we talking about the Pornhub show
Okay,
that
ready?
we're doing
Wait a minute.
next? The OnlyFans?
Cut. All
Okay,
right.
good.
So, anyway, guys.
Glad that's over.
Jesus. I hate doing this. This is ridiculous how we have to. So, no. I mean, I think, frankly,
No, you want it to be conversational.
Yes.
I get it.
and you two are going
Right,
to
I think
way
people
more.
enjoy that.
Like, I think you guys probably watch way more series stuff than I do. Series, shows. Like you just
mean
you
TV
just mentioned
series?
WandaVision that you watched all. What you say, 9 episodes in one.
9 episodes.
I've only done that with The Boys when
Ugh.
when that came out. I watched that straight through. So I mean, I think you two are going to be a little more precise and knowledgeable about some of the stuff that's on streaming. I think I'm going to be a little more esoteric, jumping around a little bit between like talking about Criterion Collection stuff or. Because I don't watch. I don't stream a lot. And now that I got this, Drew, how about that Plex server? That thing works cool, right?
Yeah,
Now
no,
that
it's
I'm
great.
doing-
I use it for like any home movie that I have. I use it for. I don't know if you guys know this. I'm on a couple of podcasts, and sometimes I'll get a rough episode to look at. And so that's really good. I just throw it on Plex, and I can watch it in any. TV
But wait,
in
is
the
it
house
is
kind of
it
thing.
a server in the cloud?
No, it's a server that you set up in a drive, or in my case, on a network attached server at my house. I can set it up to be my own personal cloud. Right. So if I wanted to watch an early cut of episode 4 of Movie Strange while I was on the road or something, I could set that up. I don't have that set up because I don't.
But how much storage
travel
capacity
like that.
does it have? I mean, you
serve
pay
as much as you want.
Yeah.
If you want to give it 20 terabytes of service and multiple drives, you can do that.
Yeah.
Right now I have, I think it's 4 terabytes in this network attached server, and that's enough for now. I'm not ripping my whole collection or anything, partly because I haven't unpacked it, but part of why I haven't unpacked it is because I don't know where I'm going to put them yet. So maybe that will lead me to do what Ralph is doing. I don't know.
Yeah.
But my whole thing is I want the sound quality and the image quality to be as good as possible, and the DVD rips for your own personal use. I mean, if you do it right, there's not really any decay or anything.
No, and you can ratchet that up
it's
and
nice.
down depending on how
Right.
much storage you have. The other thing is it also streams movies. If you pay, I think it's $4.99 a month, you can also get TV and movies that they suggest. So they look at your collection and they see what you put in. It's amazing. And they go, well, if you like this one, bing, 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 try these, which are part of their thing.
Some of
I
that,
don't understand. So wait,
some of
wait,
that
wait.
is free
so
also. So
you download this stuff onto this Plex thing, and does everyone now have access to it
No.
who's on Plex?
No, you don't have
No,
access
no.
to my
Confused.
films. You don't have access to my
So how do they know?
It's
what
using
you're
the
watching?
internet. It goes out there, right? So all my movies now have posters built for them. The thumbnails are
Right.
all stuff that it goes out and finds. And you can even change it if there's a movie that's like Taking of the Pelham 1, 2, 3. It immediately put the poster for the new one. So you just go in there and say, no, you got the wrong one. Find the
Right.
one from 1974. Boom, and it fixes it. And then it says, you like that one? Try this stuff. So Plex is pretty cool. And like I said, I'm watching way more of my collection than I ever had in the past. Because, again, I have it at every TV in my house because it all also streams through Roku. So every Roku that I have, I can grab my Plex and boom,
I assume it streams through Apple TV too.
all of it. I think Apple TV.
yeah, anything.
Probably. Yeah.
It's on Amazon Fire TV. Any of those.
You know,
All
maybe
right,
I'm.
so,
dumber
John, here's
than
what you do.
our audience.
You load Plex on your computer
Yeah.
and you tell it, Plex asks you, where do you store your movies? Okay, my Blu-ray movies live on this drive, and here's the folder. Go find it. It populates it, and now on my Plex server, I can call up that particular drive, and there I have all my movies looking. I'm looking right at them like
And
you're on
the-
Netflix.
So
Same thing.
it allows you to access your existing drive
Yep.
with the
Yeah,
movies
think
on.
of think of it this way, John. Plex, when you open up your Fire TV, you have a list of apps. So there's Disney Plus, there's HBO Max, there's Netflix. Plex is just another one of those.
Right.
And so you would click on Plex, and then what you're looking at is your own content that you've had the server, the Plex
In
server
your own-
looking
in your
at
own
in
file,
your own
whatever
house.
you- okay,
and
I
they
get
also
it. Now I
have
understand.
other content that is free and other content that you can
Right.
pay a monthly.
But the app,
There's
if you don't
nothing-
get the
there's nothing
streaming
on the
stuff,
internet
it's-
you can't pay a monthly subscription for at this
Right.
point.
Yeah. Well, that's
So-
true. Okay, I get it now.
And
That's
it's opened
interesting.
up my whole thing. Now I'm watching films I never would have. I never
Yeah,
would
but
have taken.
I mean,
them
you
off the
like
shelf.
watching them on computers. I can't stand watching movies on computers.
I mean,
I want to watch them on
I
my
don't care
big-
where I don't
big
care where I
screen.
watch it. It's about the content. It's
I know.
not about what I'm. I used
Oh,
to be that way.
No,
I'm with
it's about
John.
the
I'm
experience.
with
I know
John.
you guys both are very. The big TV is.
Well,
it.
you got the 7 speakers. You got the
I used to be-
190 screen. That's how I want to watch my movies.
That's how I bought my late.
Yeah.
Everything was based on. I want the image to be as best as it can be, best as
Yeah.
it can be. I've gotten over that
Right.
because everything's been dumbed down anyway with the Zoom stuff that we do and the way. Even in my business.
No, but
TV,
what I do like is when I was on the road 40 weeks a year, it would be great to be able to access my video library
Right.
with that. That
Right.
that I can see as
Well,
a
that-
definite advantage.
that
but
is
that's
what
not the
Plex
way I
can
want to
do
watch
for
my
you.
movies.
Plex
Yeah,
is the
that's
answer.
what Plex can do for you.
Maybe they'll
Yeah,
sponsor
that's good.
us.
I like that.
Maybe
Okay,
Plex
now
will
I understand.
sponsor
I did
us.
not.
Woo. So
I was a little confused.
So anyway, so we're here to help people with option paralysis, I think, and we're
Well,
each
it's you say help people. What we want to do is we want to make recommendations.
well, that's helping.
That's what we're
people
doing.
with-
That's what we're going to talk
how's that?
about. I mean,
How's that not helping?
well, I don't know.
Drew's going to have to be. Drew's in between
mean,
us. He's going to have to help us here because
I think at the end of the day, we live to serve. Everyone knows that, and so
For you, the
a lot
audience.
of people. That's right. A lot of people. It's funny because a lot of people they'll hop on, say just Netflix. Never mind all the different services.
Right.
They'll hop on Netflix and like, what do I watch? So you can look at And Netflix has done, none of these things are really good at recommending stuff that, you watch this, you should try this, and you're immediately like, oh, I want to see that. Never mind that if you saw it, it might actually be a good fit, but you don't, nobody that I know has an experience where they watch something and then the next thing that Netflix recommends, they watch that and it was perfect,
Right.
and then they watch,
Right,
like
recommended for you.
Right, it's just too much stuff.
Right.
So people will go on Netflix and they'll look at the, what's trending and the top 10, all that sort of stuff. I'm different. I have a running list of stuff that I want to watch. And then I just have to decide what it is that I want to watch. And I'm happy to talk about what I watch and why I wanted to watch it and help people find things, because the option paralysis, it is a real thing. I don't know what I want to watch. And now I've spent like literally 35 minutes scrolling through stuff and I don't know this. And maybe you're like, oh, I want to watch that. And then you keep scrolling and now it's been 10 minutes. You forgot the other one that you wanted to watch and you haven't found anything else. And I think it's probably frustrating for people. And the fact is there's so much stuff. There's actually quite a bit of good stuff. There just really is, but it's across different services. Right. And
not everyone has 5 different streaming services. Most people have Netflix.
Well, the other thing that Ralph mentioned, watching TV series versus movies, never mind COVID. I mean, just in general in the industry, that line is in a lot of ways is long gone anyway. I mean, there was a time where, that actor's not going to do a TV show because he does movies.
Right.
And now, I mean, Nicole Kidman does movies and she does HBO shows and then she goes back and does another movie.
I think that's
I'd argue that some of these people have seen more success on television than they have in the movies in a while. And that's not any kind of knock on their career or anything. So there's a lot of good stuff. And then COVID has locked us all up to watch.
No, I'm beyond comparing TV to film. It's all the same now, I think.
Right.
And basically this has proved, the fact that they're streaming directly now to these streaming services. At the same time, they're going out
and big budgets.
Yeah.
We're not talking about TV budgets.
I'm less
real
concerned
money.
with that and just more concerned with, because here's how when I listen to podcasts that, like there's one I listen to all the time with Bill Simmons called the Rewatchables. And immediately when I'm listening to what he's doing, I immediately want to go and watch that film when I'm all done.
Right.
It gets me charged up to see that film again.
Right.
And that's what I hope this does, which is we get some recommendations from us that people go, you know what, that's good. I'm going to cut through all the stuff and try that one that they suggested. And, I just think that
look, I'm sure you guys have all dealt with the same thing. Since the pandemic started, and we were just talking about, a year ago was the last free day for everybody before the big lockdowns occurred. So everyone's streaming everything, right? And everyone's saying, well, I think I've watched everything. And I'm sure you've been asked, I know I've been asked, what are you watching that I can binge watch? That's what I hear all the time. And I kind of think of this as something like that. Maybe between the three of us, because again, our tastes in movies are similar in some ways, but they're very divergent. So we might recommend something that no one ever thought to watch, and they might say, hey, I might give that a shot based on the way we talk about it. Maybe if they watch any of the shows, they know our personalities. They know what we like, what we don't like. Maybe it'll catch some. That's kind of how I thought about it, What are you binge watching? What can I watch? And make a recommendation and have a little conversation about it. As opposed to we get real specific about one movie, type of thing.
We touched on a little before we brought Drew on, but I also want to just do a show where we talk about our collections. Simply, hey, how do you sort your collection? Is it alphabetical? Do you go genre? And, all the laser discs you have. When was the last time you watched X or Y? I mean, I have 500 laser discs. I'm never going to watch all
you were
those.
supposed to bring me a laser disc player and you didn't. So
I forgot. I
haven't been able to
got a
watch
couple
them.
in the.
No, it's okay. It's cool. I know. No
you
big
need
deal.
it to flip, right? You can't have one. You have to get up. And
Yeah,
flip.
I don't want to have to flip it.
Well, then
okay?
beggars can't be choosers. Okay.
I don't want to have to flip it.
But I'm just saying,
What
I'd
is
like
he,
to do
a
a couple
Neanderthal?
Yeah, exactly.
Flipping his
it's
own
funny. So
discs?
I bought when I worked at Service Merchandise. That's where I worked. I bought a 41-inch Pioneer rear projection TV
Okay.
and a laser disc player, and I bought Star Wars. So I didn't tell my folks I bought it, and I was living at home. So this TV shows up. We had to take the door off the hinges to get it through the door because the cab. And my father is flipping out. He's angry. What the hell are you doing spending your money on this? Blah, blah, blah. I bring it downstairs. I hook the thing up. I put the laser disc in, and I'm sitting there. I got a recliner right in front of my bedroom. My father comes down. He goes, I cannot believe you wasted your money. Wow. That picture looks pretty good. that picture looks good, John. It was so seeing that big ship flying over. It was incredible. And ever since then, bigger.
Yeah, I went the other. See, I went the other way. Because I spent.
Because you're not a film guy.
Let me explain, and then
You're not a
take that
film
statement back, Drew. Can you
No,
stick
I
your
will
finger
not.
in his ear for me? Give him a little
You
wet
are.
willy
You
there.
are not. You don't like the
Other way.
experience.
No,
of
that's me.
The theater.
No, listen.
Right, other way.
I spent my whole life upgrading. Oh, laser discs because it's got component S video outside. The picture has to be perfect, and I just got tired of that. And now I just don't care. The content is king for me now. And look, I don't watch anything on a cell phone. I'm not saying I go that bad, but sitting in front of these computers now with bigger screens and nice sound, I get the full impact of what I'm looking for on these. And now, like I said, with Plex, and I can watch it on anything, it's like I feel great that I'm actually watching my collections. And if I could just convert the Laserdisc to look any good, it's really hard to convert those because they're so old school. I could fill up a whole drive just with that stuff. And,
Can you even download those?
What do you mean? No, you'd have to. Yeah, I can convert them through equipment that I have.
You could,
but it's all in real time. So it's like,
oh God,
yeah,
right.
See, with the DVD stuff, those aren't real time, and even the Blu-rays come out really nice looking, big.
So you can do the Blu-rays also.
Yeah, they'll fit on your screen. They'll look great. So that's the other thing. I convert all those, and I can sit back and watch it, and it's just fantastic. So I'd like to get a little bit into like collections and other stuff for this show. We'll come up with some stuff, but again, I'd love to keep it conversational. And just try to make it feel like people are kind of walking in on us and we're talking about stuff. And they go, and Drew's always said that when he heard us talk on our show, he goes, that's a conversation I want to jump into. Mainly because we get everything wrong and he wants to correct us.
Not just that, but the conversation in general.
But yeah, so I'd like that to be our, how we deal with this. And I think streaming's important because it's becoming such a mainstay for everybody now. And movies are coming out directly to streaming, and I think it's good stuff we could talk about.
And it's not going away anytime soon, even when the pandemic's over.
No, it will not.
Because people are so used to it now.
It will not.
And like you, Ralph, a lot of people have no interest in going to a movie theater. So they're happy staying at home.
It's not that I...
No, I'm not saying every movie, but I'm looking forward to the theater experience. I want that.
Oh, now don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I don't like going to the theater and seeing something up on the big screen there. That's not what I'm talking about. It doesn't matter in my home. I miss going to the movie theater and that collective thing with everybody and all the sound and all that. I miss all that. No, that's too. Don't misconstrue that. But I think movie theaters aren't going to open up right away. Certainly not with the crowds you're going to have. And I think streaming is going to be it's going to be there for a while. And everybody's investing in it.
I think people got used to the convenience of it and the ease of it. And that's why they'll continue to do it, whether there's a pandemic or not. But there'll be enough people who will want to go to the movies. The questions are the movie theaters going to be able to survive with less people going? That's going to be
you'll be paying $17.
I don't know what the answer is to that.
You'll be paying a lot for popcorn and soda. That's what'll happen.
Well, you already do, but
that's where they make their money. Sure.
Yeah,
that's
but it'll be even
that's
more
exactly
than that,
right.
So, but anyway, that's my thought. What do you guys think? What's your thoughts?
You mean other than we've just been doing for the last 20 minutes?
So that's it. I said specifically I want to talk about
Yes, Ralph. I would love to talk about, do you alphabetize your collection?
No, I'm saying, okay,
or is it by genre?
That's my idea. What's your idea?
I just thought, I'd like to recommend movies and
old films,
shows and TV series
to
our audience because they watch us on all these different platforms, okay? I mean, there's at least 10 of you that are solid hardcore fans.
I mean, frankly, they could stream this. That's how we watch this, through streaming.
That's what I'm talking about, right?
Right.
Ralph,
it's a weird loop. It's a loop. It's like Tenet. Same thing.
It's inverted.
I haven't seen that yet. I have to look into it.
That was bad. And the other thing I'd like to do every now and then, we did it on Cue It Up, but with 3 of us on it, I wouldn't mind looking at some new movie that just came out and frankly just do a review of it. I don't think that would be once in a while.
Sure.
I think we should do that. I think it's interesting. I don't want to do that all the time because, there's 1,000 places you can go for that, more than that. But I do like when we did Wonder Woman and Tenet, I did enjoy that because it was different from what we normally do. and it was much more focused, and frankly, it was shorter. So maybe people will watch it because it's a little bit shorter. So some of these get long, and I love them, and I could go 3 hours, but people aren't going to sit through it.
Well,
and like you said, in the Red Productions, who cares? We should just, if it's 3 hours, it's 3 hours. That's what happens.
We're the only ones.
So
really
what I think
watching
we should do a show where we each list every DVD and Laserdisc we own alphabetically. So that could take, like 6 hours.
Just go through the list. Just
go through
Yeah,
the list.
I think that sounds
and
great.
and if you've got it, you just got that one.
Yeah.
Got that one. Right?
Well, I can
like
just
that.
pull up my whole collection in my movies 3 catalog software. I used to use DVD Profiler, which is also very good, but I'm using My Movies 3 now, and
I have my Excel
I can-
spreadsheet with all my movies on
There you
it.
go. I can create a report and send it to you. You can compare them. It'll be a good time. Time.
That's awesome.
Listen, every time that I watch something, I love movies and I love stories and I love all that stuff. Every time I watch something, I want it to be the best thing that I've ever seen. I do have certain expectations going into things. Sometimes something will genuinely surprise you. Like, I never thought I would rent Promising Young Woman twice since it came out, but it was both so good and so surprising. I said, you know what, I just want to see it again, and I want to support it. Like, that's a movie. If I saw it at home and then all of a sudden it was safe to go to the movie theaters, I'd go right out and see it in the movie theater, because it's a different experience, but also because I want people who make those kinds of movies that I love to be able to keep making them.
Right.
And to me, I want to be excited about stuff that I watch, and I like talking about it. And one of my just personal pleasures is sharing things that I love with people that I think will like it and hearing what they have to say.
Right.
So we're just going to talk about what's out there now, because there's so much. I mean, we could talk about there are services that people have never heard of that are cheap or even free, that are great repositories of all kinds of stuff that people might be interested in. So we'll talk about that too. I mean, there's just, we can't tell you what every episode is going to be just because I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, Warner Brothers putting all their movies out on HBO Max is like a thunderclap to the industry. But then the movie theaters opened this weekend in New York, and the top movie was that new Disney, I think, Raya and the Last Dragon.
Oh, yeah.
And that made $8 million. Well, that's starting to sound like the old box office, even though it's not a lot of money. So I don't know what this will look like next year. I don't know what this will look like 2 years from now. Yeah. I know whatever the landscape is, it ain't going to look like it looked a year ago.
Right.
And so I'm just curious to see how we find stuff and talk about it, and hopefully people will want to listen in and decide what they want to watch too.
Yep. Sounds good. So
like
stay tuned for Stream Quest with 2 Qs and a Drew.
Yeah, how are we going to do this? We're going to get a few in the can and then put them out, or are we going to start putting them out?
Why don't you let me
once
say
a
the
week?
title again before you jump on, okay? Ready? Stay tuned for Stream Quest with 2 Qs and a Drew. Okay, now go ahead.
I'm sorry, what was the title? I didn't hear you.
Stream Quest with 2 Qs and a Drew. Okay. I'm sorry, John. He's putting his glasses.
No, that's
This
okay.
is just like a conversation. You seem aggravated. This is good.
Yep, you're an asshole, and that's typical. So that's fine.
Right.
I don't care.
Okay.
No, I think this will be fun. I'm looking forward to this. I know, you've come on our show a couple of times. It's been really good. So why not do
fun.
it weekly and have the same conversation? So
Wait, we're
not
doing
the
this
same, but
weekly?
You know what I mean?
We're going to do this weekly?
Yeah. Well, that depends on in the Red Productions, because he gets.
Yeah, let me
bogged
see if I
down
can push
with,
some
with
of
all
the
his shows.
push some of my stuff around. See if I can make that fit, and we'll make.
You got to move some things around.
I got to move a couple things around.
Have your people call them out, people. Then
I
we'll
got some
talk.
people.
Well, if you don't want to do it weekly, are you thinking we would just start at 4 days a week?
Twice a week.
Type of schedule?
Bi-weekly. No, bi-weekly.
I mean, 5 days a week.
Well,
seems
listen.
like
If you
a
look
lot,
at
so.
if you look at the ones that are getting a lot of hits, they put content on every day. So
those are live stream. Those are live
I
streamers.
think we need to think about that.
Talking
I think
all
we
the-
need
they
to
call
think
it
about that.
chat.
We got one of the Drew. We have one of the best producers.
They're talking about the chat.
in the streaming industry. Okay, the guy we have is the best producer. If anyone can pull it off, and I think we should do a live stream one time.
Oh, sure. But
And not tape
who are you talking about? What producer?
Ho, 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 ho,
Oh, yeah.
I'm
No,
not-
he's
I'm
very
not
good.
a- No,
He's very
I'm
good.
not.
That's an interesting start, Drew.
No. We'll hire someone named Kelly. I know is a real good producer. Probably.
Oh, a previous guest on
Good help
Or
us.
Hassan.
Good help us.
Cue it up. That's right.
Hassan has moved to New York.
So who
think he can
cares?
help
It's
us.
Zoom.
He
Who
moved to
cares?
New York
Yep. He's gonna
just
move
because
to
we
New-
kicked him off.
Yeah, he couldn't take the show anymore, so we moved.
Well, he didn't like watching the movies. I mean, it's
Oh.
tough to do a show about movies where you don't actually watch
know.
the movie.
Not everybody's a movie freak like us. Movie
This is
freak.
true.
All right, well, there you go. 2 Qs.
Yeah, excellent. Looking forward to that. And Ralph, good topic tonight. Kind of teed up what we're going to do
Yeah, we
in the
tease
future.
it. I'm not. We'll start this hopefully, and I need about a week to kind of put something together.
Decompress.
No, put something together so we're not using the same-
Logos,
some graphics. You know, I
backgrounds,
gotta.
theme music.
You know,
do I
right.
need another theme?
Would your
Do I
friend?
need
Hey,
another
maybe
theme
your
written?
friend might do a second theme.
Not. Yeah, listen. Yeah.
Well,
I'll talk
Well,
to him.
you can
Tell
check
him we'll
out
double.
StreamQuest. You can check out StreamQuestShow.com as soon as I finish building it.
Yeah, gotta- tell your friend we'll give him.
StreamQuestShow.com.
Tell your friend we'll give him double what he got the last time. That's how important this
Ooh.
is. Okay.
And if this thing takes off, we're going to take care of
The
it.
royalties alone
That's
are
right.
going to build him another house, so it's fine.
That's right.
All right, Drew, welcome. This is going to be a good one.
Yeah. Looking forward to
I'm
it.
excited.
Thanks for joining
Thanks,
us
guys.
tonight.
I think it's going to be fun. And until then, John, we'll do another one of these next. We'll do a 2.
Absolutely. We'll see you next week. Everyone, thanks again for watching. Don't forget, subscribe, hit the notification button, share, okay? Ralph, take us out with the music, will you? Let's
No,
go.
hang on.
Little
Stream
music.
Quest with 2 Qs and a Drew. Don't forget that. Now, hit the music. Come on, Drew. You got to give it one of these.
And that's not...
There it is. All right. Stream Quest.
Oh, God.